Scanning complete. Mr. President, welcome to ARC 422A.
When Tim Willis asked before running through the preamble of our time with Rage 2 who here had played the game, I sort of raised my hands and waved it around a bit in a kind of indecisive fashion. Why? Because, if memory serves, I only got about 4 hours into the game before wandering off to play other things. It's not that I didn't want to like Rage, it's just that I wasn't hugely engaged by it. Rage 2 is Rage, but with a zanier story and characters, with faster paced combat, and with colours and environments that aren't just different shades of brown. The Authority is back in town, having been thought destroyed 30 years ago in the first game, but with arcs now popping up and the various factions of the Wasteland fighting to try and get access to the nanotrite goodies within, the Authority are a rather unwanted distraction, and yet they loom like a bear in the distance in the early slice of the game that we got to play. It's their Donald Trump-shaped puppet of a reality TV tycoon that gets to take centre stage, although apparently this isn't meant to be a political statement and was conceived prior to Trump's run for president. Sure thing, Bethesda, I totally believe that you could not have made any changes to the story in the last 2 years. Anyway, with the mayor of Wellspring having been attacked by this character's goons, you're tasked with trying to get an audience with him to plant a bug, but that first requires you to win on the returning Mutant Bash TV, first on the racetrack and then through fighting waves of mutants that are sent into the room with you. Walker gets to play the straight man to the nonsense around him, with a salacious and wrinkled old TV host and her dancing gimps eliciting an appropriately bemused response from him. When so many games still give you a silent protagonist that doesn't really engage with anything around them, it's kind of refreshing to have a character that easily echoes your own thoughts. This game really shines when it comes to the combat. Put in the right hands, the array of weapons and nanotrite abilities can lead to a breathtaking amount of carnage. Abilities can be chained together so that a dash adds the momentum of the sudden burst of speed into the shatter attack that you follow it with, sending enemies flying through the sky and across the world. It's really impressive to watch someone that's got a real handle on the game and knows what they're doing, stringing all of these things together, and I'm reminded of those people that simply blaze a trail through the battles and arenas of Wolfenstein and Doom of the last few years. There is absolutely that feeling of a modern id and machine game style to the combat here. The controls do take a little bit of getting used to though. All of your nanotrite abilities are exposed through pressing a bumper button and then combining it with a face button or a push in the direction of the analog stick. Sometimes you want to hold the bumper, other times you want to push it in quickly, and it initially required of me a little bit too much thinking to actually get what I wanted to do done. Regular running and gunning seemed to work pretty well without them, especially with all of the weapons having a secondary fire. For example, there's the hypercannon railgun, which has got its basic shot and then a charged up shot when you aim down the sights, or you've got the Firestorm revolver, where you can shoot away at an enemy before then detonating the bullets later. They work well in tandem with the various gadgets, such as the returning homing wing stick. There's a shield wall that you can throw down as a temporary barricade, although you can still see through it, or you've got a vortex grenade that sucks everything nearby it in and then spits it up to float in the air. Just as with the abilities, everything's stacked, so that vortex grenade might be great when thrown into a mass of enemies, letting you pick them off while they're helpless, but maybe you prefer to use it to launch yourself up into the air, so that then you can use the ground slam that deals extra damage. When there's so many layers to the combat, simply getting around the world is a bit less exciting. It's not that it's bad, and the handling and third-person racing is engaging enough for that side of the game, but with this demo set in the dusty brown wasteland around Wells, it's just not particularly exciting visually, despite using the sky to cast numerous hues of colour across it. That's not really that big of a criticism though, when other open world shooters also largely have run-of-the-mill vehicles, but vehicular combat is meant to be one of the pillars of this game. Your standard vehicle is the Phoenix, which is equipped with miniguns and rockets that fire in an arc to the front, but you can also hijack some enemy vehicles as well, with the best that I found being a truck with a tank cannon on it that just spat out explosions. Now that is a fun vehicle, and I really did enjoy driving for a few minutes to my next location, while just making the screen shake with an endless barrage of explosions. There's plenty of side content to find in the world, such as rival gangs and factions squabbling around some of their crashed vehicles, or the sudden appearance of authority airships that drop these huge automated cannons to hound you as you scurry to get past them and out of their range. Most interesting are the battles that spring up whenever a new arc appears, with various factions bringing their best and slugging it out for superiority. They do gradually whittle themselves down, as if you want to sit on the sidelines and watch, but even if they do spot you when you get stuck in, they don't simply just put aside their differences to fight you. I wish more games behaved a bit like that. Still, I really want to see more of the world that Rage 2 promises us. What I played still feels like an environment that we've visited on a few too many occasions over the years, and that's just looking at Bethesda's catalogue of post-apocalyptic games. I want to see and play in the different biomes that bring new tones and colours to the game in a more meaningful and engaging way. And so we come to one of the elephants in the room, which is Avalanche Studios and their Apex engine, because they don't have a particularly good track record on modern consoles thanks to the most recent entries in the Just Cause series. When we posed this question to Tim Willits, and you can read our full interview over on the6thAxis.com, he explained that the game would be 1080p and 30 frames per second on console, while the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X will be pushing for 60 FPS instead of going for higher resolutions. There's still a few months left to optimise the game, and given id's tendency to have very good performance, I'm sure that they're pushing Avalanche all of the way, but Rage 2 simply tries to do an awful lot less than Just Cause 4 did, and so it should hold up much better because of it. Still, it should be noted that what you're seeing in the background was captured on PC and it was provided as B-roll to us. So, Rage 2 is a curious game. I don't think many would have earmarked the original for a sequel, but here we are, and id and Avalanche are making good strides to make this the game that the original should have been. There's still one foot in the past with the wasteland that you start in, but around it they've thrown in some balmy new vehicles, more over-the-top characters, and combat that is fast-paced and slick enough to live up to id Software's name. Thanks as ever for checking out our video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do like, subscribe and share this. You can also head over to the 6th Axis for more of this preview and plenty of other video games news previews and so on, or alternatively you can hang around here on YouTube where we've got a bunch of other videos for 2019's upcoming games. Either way, hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!